That is worth putting your mind to. We all want love in our lives, love in our lives, love for each other and love for the world. And we come to realize if it's love we desire, then love must be held in mind. Put your mind on God, who is everything that is good, that is whole, that is true. Put your mind on God, who is everything that is worth putting your mind to. We all want joy in our lives, joy in our lives, joy for each other and joy for the world. And we come to realize if it's joy we desire, then joy must be held in mind. Put your mind on God, who is everything that is good, that is whole, that is true. Put your mind on God, who is everything that is worth putting your mind to. The daily word for Sunday, October 9th, world peace. Peace creates beauty in the world. An artist creates beauty out of a spectrum of shades and hues. And the diversity of color adds to the depth of the artwork. In this same manner, the difference in the world show the possibilities of splendor when combined in the right way. I envision a world in which all people are accepted exactly as they are, and I set an intention to practice and facilitate goodwill towards others. I behold the world around me and find examples of people and cultures blending and mixing in magnificent ways. The potential for peaceful interaction and coexistence are endless. Acts of kindness, honesty, and healthy communication paint pictures of harmony. As I choose non-judgment and unconditional positive regard, I create peace in the world. And from Psalm 34, verse 14, depart from evil and do good, seek peace and pursue it. The word for the day is world peace. And now let's stand and we're going to sing, I Am Here. I'm here to give and receive love. I am here to give and receive. I am here to give and receive love. I am here to give and receive love, love. I am here to give and receive love. We are here to give and receive love. We are here to give and receive. We are here to give and receive love. We are here to give and receive love, love. We are here to give and receive love. I am here to give and receive love. I am here to give and receive. I am here to give and receive love. I am here to give and receive love, love. I am here to give and receive love.
Seated. Is there anybody here for the first time today besides all our great fur babies that are out there? Please don't worry if they decide to join in and help us sing or speak. It's perfectly okay. That's what they do. Anybody else here for the first time today? No? Okay, well, we welcome all of our fur babies and everybody else who came back today. And we want to welcome back Nancy Whitten is back with us again today. Okay, and after we'll settle in for meditation after our wonderful band sets the tempo, and then Nancy will lead us in meditation.
In this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when it seems I've lost my way, when I go inside and quiet my mind, I can hear Spirit gently say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. So settling into comfort in our bodies, letting go of everything before this moment, we tune into a deeper sense of oneness with life, with God, and with Spirit. We feel ourselves grounded in this moment. And as a spiritual community, together we move into a sense of perfect balance. We feel a sense of spaciousness now, and we find that peace that resides within. We abide in the deep grounding peace of God. We clearly see and feel ourselves as expressions of love. And so we give love, we receive love, and we abide in the love of God. We are love, and therefore each and every one of us is a healing presence, no matter what is going on in our world or our lives. We stand in faith that there is divine intelligence at work in every situation, and we bask in this sense of well-being as we listen. Fear can keep us stuck, or it can be a great teacher. Our fears aren't separate from us. They are thoughts we've created in our minds, and if we created them, we can change them. With unfailing faith in God, we set about exploring what scares us, and in the process, we embrace a newfound level of self-understanding, a stronger faith, and a brighter day. Our faith is like a muscle, though. It gets stronger the more we use it. When the road ahead is uncertain, every step forward takes faith. In hard times, it takes faith to get out of bed and interact with the day, believing that doing so will be helpful, and no matter the result, we are going to be okay. Faith becomes a prayer that seeks the highest outcome. We know that life is filled with joy and hope, as well as disappointment and tragedy. Faith allows us to embrace the paradoxes of the human experience and feel divinely loved amid them. Here and now, we sense the sweet spot where any perceived fears melt away into the eternal grace and limitless unconditional love of God. We know without a doubt that the answers to whatever is weighing on our hearts and minds will be revealed in perfect time. So let's rest in these truths for a few moments in the silence. Every time we walk through fear, our light shines a little brighter. We trust ourselves more, and our faith grows. Our bodies feel the difference between the stress of fear and the power of doing it anyway. We stand a little taller on the other side of fear, realizing that we are changed and that we are so much more. To this we say, praise God and amen. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. I was born to live life holy, to let go of regrets, to walk the high wire of life without unseen, to follow something even bigger than my pride, to show up with courage even when I'm trembling inside. And I will not worry about what others think of me. And I will not be shy, but the chains of conformity. I'll break the molds set in the past, keep pushing till I'm free at last. I'll follow the path of my heart and make my life a work of art. Call me fearless. I am fearless. I'll follow the road to adventure everywhere. I'll let the top down and let the wind tangle up my hair. Hitch my dreams onto the brightest star. On the trapeze of life, I just throw my heart over the bar. On the other side of fear, there lies euphoria, and a better understanding of who we really are. I'll break the mold set in the past, keep pushing till I'm free at last. I'll follow the path of my heart and make my life a work of art. Call me fearless. I am fearless. I am fearless. I'll push outside the comfort zone, remembering I'm not alone. Follow the path of my heart and make my life a work of art. Call me fearless. I am fearless. I am fearless. I am fearless. I am fearless.
Thank you.
Oh, Lordy. That was a perfect song to lead it right into this talk. Today, I am going to speak about fear, but I won't be speaking about the fear that we feel when there's imminent danger, like if we need to swerve our car off to the side of the road because something, to avoid an accident. I'm not talking about that imminent danger. I'll be focusing on those nagging fears and beliefs that are in the background of our minds that can stop us from moving forward in our lives and in our spiritual evolution. So those nagging little fears that are kind of in the background. I think scary beliefs arise from our experiences. If we don't feel the feelings that are evoked at that time, then we store those feelings in our bodies and minds, and we call upon them when making decisions about the future. And I have a little example to express that. Now, I come from a very loving family, very loving. But from time to time, my mom and dad would get scared. And one time I was sassing back my mom, and I got smacked across the face for doing that. Now, my decision, the belief that I made from that little experience was that it's not safe to speak up. Don't do it. And that's the fears I'm talking about today, the kind that we kind of invent from our experiences to make us safe in the future. So don't speak up. It isn't safe. Fears are scary beliefs that we set up for ourselves with the intent of making our human selves safe. Myself was trying to keep myself safe. Don't speak up and you won't get hit. So Lori Ladd says this. She said, sometimes when we want to step out of our comfort zone, we start to rise in vibration. We're becoming more energetic. We're following intuition and heart dreams. Here's what faith does. It comes and blocks the energetic compass and it says, no, 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 you don't want to do that. You don't want what's coming in the future. It's not safe. Don't do it. So fear tries to predict a scary future in order to keep us safe. But actually, it's impossible to predict the future. And yet, I followed that little belief that I had made up for a long, long time. But the future is something, when it comes, we just don't know what's going to happen. So Lori says, pay attention to your fear. It's merely an energy designed to stop you in order to protect you from a future it can't predict. Pay attention, follow inner guidance, and keep going. So fear is believing in a scary outcome to our actions that keep us stuck. Now my fears used to scare the heck out of me, and they still do sometimes. When I notice them, I run fast and far in the opposite direction. A common acronym for fear, which I really like, is, and this is the first time I've heard this one, forget everything and run. And I really know that one. So we can run from our fears, but we can't hide. We run to the medicine cabinet sometime, to the liquor cabinet, to the refrigerator, to the TV, online shopping. That's just to name a few. But the problem is when we return from our escape therapy, the fear is still waiting for us. Over time, I've come to see that fears are a part of the human experience. Maybe the purpose of fear is to support us in developing confidence in ourselves and trust in the universe. Maybe fear is pointing us in the direction of our wisdom, strength, and joy. Fear longs to keep us in our safety zone, in that comfort zone, and our hearts are always inviting us to step into new territory. It used to feel so stressful to me to want to soar and feel afraid to do that at the exact same time. I now consider this kind of back and forth motion the natural tug of war, or you could call it a lullaby, between our egos and our evolving souls. And that's always going to be there for us, I think. I don't know that there's ever a stopping point for that. Sometimes I actually find myself feeling grateful for my fears. I know that's a really silly idea, but one night I did. They're like dear friends that are calling me home to my heart. They ask and sometimes insist that I be present to them to hear what they are trying to tell me. Running away from fear only seems to make them more persistent in my life, or drives them more deeply into my unconscious, where they get to direct the parts I'm allowed to play in life. Our fears do that. For a long time, I wouldn't speak up. For a long time, I couldn't stand up and do this. What if I made a mistake or was judged or you didn't like it or, I was wrong. So that directed my life for a long time. And I think those early traumas in our lives, unless we kind of work through them, they get to say what we can do. Maybe we can just listen to our fears and see what they have to tell us about what we must be believing about ourselves and the world. Maybe we can just notice them, and move ahead anyway. And for sure, we can always ask for help when we're facing our fears. We can ask the universe for help. Now, this happened a long time ago, but one night I felt such sweet compassion for my whole self, including my fears. I didn't want to disown them or shut them out. I didn't want to run and hide or be angry with myself for feeling fearful again. I just wanted to sing a love song to my fears. And this is from David Kaiser. See if I can find it. There will be music and dancing on another night, a celebration to last throughout the years. But tonight I sit and turn out the lights and sing a love song to my fears. To my deepest disappointment, to every mistake, to the times I turned away, every road I didn't take. To every fault, every flaw, to all that somehow went wrong, I sing to every weakness that somehow makes me strong. And it goes on. It's just a beautiful song, and I can't quite do it like he does, but I just wanted to sing a love song to my fears. And when that happened, the tide turned. Faith entered, and there was a little opening for faith to come in when we start to be compassionate toward ourselves and our fears, or any feelings that we're feeling. So that was a good thing. And this is what Ernest Holmes has to say. There is a real and lasting healing of fears. The cure is to be found in our own minds. We ought to be glad we can do something about it, and I am. We ought to listen to our fears and find out what we are afraid of and why, and then reverse the whole process. And he says the simplest method is to learn to have faith in this thing called life, to have faith in God and in the power that is greater than we are. Now, when I read that, I thought, well, I don't exactly know what he's talking about, that we can reverse the whole process. But what I do know is that faith makes the difference in turning things around for myself and probably for lots of you. That faith is what I need to move away from my fears and into myself. I feel like when I get so far away from myself, fears can come in, but when I start coming back to my real self through faith, then my fears kind of disappear. I have a little 3-line, it's not a story exactly, but it kind of sums up this whole thing about faith. And you may have heard it, and I've heard it before too, but I love it because I think it just rings true, and it's so simple. It says, fear knocked on the door of my heart. Faith answered. No one was there. And so faith is, for me, the one thing that really turns my fears around and helps me to move away from them. Not just away from them. We don't want to just run away. We want to move through them. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a minute, but we want to move through our fears. So let's take a look about how we can deal with our fears. There's lots of ways, and I'm sure you know many. Sometimes I wish this was just open and we could all share and inspire each other with the ways that we use to sometimes help us move through our fears. But we can face our fears with faith, realizing that God is in charge of our lives and giving us exactly what we need is key to establishing a foundation of faith. So we need to be trusting in God, in goodness, that what is happening right here and right now is for us and not something that we need to hightail it away from. Life will give you whatever experience is most helpful for the evolution of your consciousness. How do you know this is the experience you need? You're having it. And that's Byron Katie all the way in the work. Faith is appreciating every day as a treasure and every experience as a gift, regardless. If we have faith in God, the universe, ourselves, and each other, that kind of faith will light the places in which we find ourselves. And by that light, we will be able to see how to respond in the moment. I love that idea when I heard it, that faith is like a light. Inherent in faith is the light that we need to be guided on our way, every step of it. And so I love thinking of faith as a light that will help me through and help me respond in the present moment. Then we can feel the fear. That's how we move through it. We can let the feelings flow without hurting ourselves or anyone else, so that they don't stay stuck in our bodies and run our lives. I want to live in the present moment and move from love. I don't want to be living from beliefs that I created in the past about a scary future. I don't want to do that. And for me, the past and the future are only figments of my imagination. They're thoughts in my mind, but they're not real. This present moment is real. And faith has the light that we need to move in the present moment through whatever we're facing. So feeling our emotions, allow them to flow through us and not stay stuck and we create a belief about that. Then another way we can deal with our fears is to talk to someone. I didn't know how to do that growing up. I just had to limp through, and probably a lot of you did too. If we are filled with fears, don't try to harbor them as a great secret, but find someone to whom we may unburden our souls. I believe now one of the wisest things we can ever do when facing our problems, when facing our fears, is to ask for help. It's beneficial to shine a light on our challenging situations, because what stays in darkness usually expresses as darkness. So we want to talk with someone. And I don't necessarily want somebody to give me advice. Sometimes I do. I'm open to that. But I just want to be heard. That sometimes is enough. Somebody witnessing what I'm experiencing. Alan Cohen said, asking for help is an affirmation that you believe in yourself. You recognize an answer is available and you are open to receive it. So ask someone, some trusted person, for help if that's what you feel you'd like to do. And then here's a little easy practice. And I am so glad, I'm so grateful to all of you for coming and listening, because I get to practice these ideas out ahead of time. And that's really, really, really helpful to me in my life, so thank you. But here's an easy practice, and yes, I have been doing it for a couple of weeks. Whatever happens, before you call it good or bad, say, this too shall pass. And I made some little affirmation cards with that saying on it. And if you'd like to put it up, I put mine right up in my office. And I can't tell you how many times I pass that and go, yep, this too shall pass. So they'll be up here. If you want one, please come and get one and try it out. See if that's helpful to you. And then I think it's really, really important to nurture our faith. And by that I mean to keep our faith tank full of whatever thing evokes that notion for us, whatever develops our faith, whatever matures it, whatever nourishes it. We need to focus on those things. And I need personally to focus on that every day in some kind of prayer, meditation. I say, thanks for coming to church on Sunday. You can hear about it there always in the Unity message. Thanks for tuning in if you're listening online. Find ways to nurture your faith. And the more that I do that, the easier it is for me to live my life. It's just amazing to me how helpful that is, and how amazing to me when I get away from it, how I feel so unlike myself. So, and then another thing that we can do, and this is the last thing I'm going to mention, but it's not the least one. In fact, you might want to forget all the other things that I mentioned. And if you do forget that, it's fine. But the one thing to remember is to love ourselves, to be compassionate for ourselves as we go through our fears. Compassion is where love meets pain. So even if we forget everything else, we can always take a few minutes just to love ourselves, because perfect love casts out fear. There's just no way around that. It just does. So now for the fun part, and I'm glad the dogs were here today, because I always think of dogs not only as comforting and playful, but they're also a lot of fun. And so the more I live in faith, the more easily and eagerly I can transition into fun. If I'm in this real fearful, anxious place, that's really hard for me to go there, and mostly I can't. But if I'm in strong faith in my life, then it's easy for me to laugh and have fun and be lighthearted. One of the very funniest things that George and I ever did was to go to these ventriloquist shows. Now, and we would just laugh ourselves silly. Did you know that the only museum on ventriloquism is in Fort Mitchell, Kentucky? And every year, the ventriloquists from all over America, and sometimes from other countries, would come for an annual convention at the Drawbridge Motel in Fort Mitchell. And after their convention, the last day of their convention, they would put on a show for the public. And when they did that, we would always go. Now, I think they've just rebuilt it or something, so that hasn't been happening for a number of years. But we would call our friends, and we would all go and just laugh ourselves silly. Well, around this same time when we were going to these ventriloquist shows, I was going to Toastmasters, which is a speech club, as part of my Unity training. You had to go and practice giving speeches. And my humorous speech was coming up, and so I thought, wouldn't it be fun to do this little ventriloquist act for my humorous speech? And well, I'll show you, exactly what I'm talking about. Just a minute. I just happened to bring my dummy with me today. Let me go get him. Oh,
Are we still on camera? We are, okay.
Let's get you all set up here, bud.
Hi, folks.
See if your head is working. Arms, yeah, good.
Hi, folks. Hi.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Know-It-All.
I was typecast.
Are you ready? Ready to go?
I'm ready. 77 years ago.
Wait a minute, Buster. We're not at Gettysburg. This is Unity of Dayton.
Oh.
How about let's just end with the prayer for protection?
Well, I like the L sound. Can we do it with L sounds?
Well, okay, let's go.
The light of God surrounds us, surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The laughter of God tickles my funny bone. And the lightheartedness of God makes me feel that all is well. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, on that note, thank you. Now it's our opportunity to support this spiritual community. As the ushers come forward, please prepare your tithes and offerings. Take them out and hold them in your hand as we say our blessing. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
Before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful.
We'll bring the offerings forward and we'll ask Nancy to accept them and bless them. George is going to accept them and bless them.
Loving Spirit, we are so grateful. Grateful for this community, grateful for the work that it does and the work that it does to support us on our journey. And so for the good that's here and the gifts we're given in love, truly, we are grateful and we say thank you and amen.
Thank you. I don't know if you've noticed, but now we're back to giving the little bulletin handouts. All of our, announcements and everything that's going on are in these. So if you grab one, take it home, you'll have whatever you need to know. I'm going to highlight just a few things today. And we do have something new starting up just for a few weeks. It's going to be the gospel choir. And Joy's going to give you a brief what's going on with that.
All right. We're going to try to do the gospel choir for the first time since pandemic. So this gives you an opportunity to come and use your voice and to create something beautiful and heart-opening for the congregation to enjoy. We'll need to have planned for 3 rehearsals, not this Thursday, but starting next Thursday. I was trying to find the date, but I wasn't quite quick enough. So next Thursday at 7. And the 3 rehearsals, you won't have to stay for very long. Next Sunday, if you're interested, you let me know you're interested. I'll make a CD for you if you want that, to listen to the music that we're going to do. And if you know that you would like to try this, let me know so that I can get some idea of how many people are coming. And the Sunday that we sing will be the first Sunday in November. Okay? So, hope to see you.
Be fun. Also, on a little sadder note, one of our longtime members, Ron Patterson, passed away back in February. There is going to be a memorial for him this afternoon at 2 o'clock in Cedarville. I don't have the information up here with me, but I do have it on my phone. So if you need to get the information, if you'd like to know about it, please catch me after the service and I'll pull it up for you. And as we all know, because we've been talking to them through the whole service, our puppos and our furry friends are all here today. We're going to do a blessing after the service with Jerry. And they're just so adorable. It's been so much fun to have them here. And speaking of fun, you can come play with us on Mystical Afternoon. And the date on that, you might want to note, has been changed. It's now on October 29th from 1 to 6. Okay, it's been pushed out a couple of weeks. You can come spend the whole afternoon from 1 o'clock to 6 o'clock. $50 at the door gets you absolutely everything. It includes an intuition workshop, theta healing, spoon bending, kinesiology, and reflexology. And we do need a couple of volunteers to help out. Some of the practitioners like to have somebody kind of help them with whatever they're doing, keep things organized and moving. If you'd like to do that, please see Jerry or myself. We'd be happy to have you. And you know the craft bazaar, I've been talking about this. We still only have maybe 9 or 10 spaces left right now. It's filling up fast, and I don't have a lot of our own people in there. These are mostly all crafters that I have found online and through other shows. So if you want a table, if you're thinking about it, please fill out the form and get it quickly so that we make sure that we get our own people in there. And if you're a baker, I forgot about that one too. I didn't notice if Joanne was here today. There's Joanne. If you see Joanne afterwards, if you're a baker and if you want to do any baking, get involved with the massive bake sale that she's putting together for this. Okay. Drumming Circle, this is coming Wednesday, October 12th. It's every second Wednesday of the month with Lisa and Dale. Bring your drums. You can borrow drums, noisemakers, beans in a container, one of those rain sticks, whatever you want. Just come and make some noise. Have some fun. Exploring Your Spirit is a study group ongoing with Dora on Tuesday evenings from 6:30 to 8 o'clock. Each week you discuss one of Charles Fillmore's 12 Powers of Man's teachings. You can come any Wednesday, pop in this Wednesday, not that one, whatever you want. It's not a complete commitment. And you can see the details for all the other classes that are going on outside on the bulletin board, the info table, in this great little pamphlet that we've got given out now. So we're going to get our dogs moving now. We're going to end the service with the peace song. Let's all stand and sing. We're going to say goodbye to everybody online and remind you you're the light of the world, and I wish you could see all the folks that are here today.